Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For the sake of this video, I'm going to be discussing the 2015 Marvel film, The Avengers: The Age of Ultron. Of course, this movie is the second of four films in the Avengers movie series, and it's, at least the Marvel Universe is pretty much connected right now, unlike what it was in the early 2000s with the X-Men movies and Tobey Maguire, with no references to other, movies or whatever. But this film stars pretty much the whole cast from the original Avengers movie, with the exception that they have. No, I think every movie mixed up. It's the next movie. We have put Doctor Strange in the next film. But this one, The Age of Ultron, has the whole original cast: Robert Downey Jr., Mark Ruffalo, Scarlett Johansson, Chris Hemsworth playing Thor. You have the same group finding a computer that Tony Stark originally had in mind. He originally had this ultimate computer they call Ultron. It would link all the world's computers and be essentially to protect itself from terrorist groups. If not, Ultron would take care of those, terrorist groups or evil people, whatever, go and attack them. And meanwhile, what Ultron did was it evolved and went into every computer system around the world, and into it's like war game. This movie is like War Games on steroids. I'm talking about the 1983 movie War Games, and if you check out my review of it if you haven't seen it, and it's like War Games on steroids. Ultron goes into all the computer networks in various countries, very, very secure computer networks, and trying to destroy humanity, because they think humanity is evil, is no good, and if you get rid of, trying to get rid of all the bad people. But meanwhile, he wants to wipe out all of the people, and the Avengers comes back and trying to stop Ultron, and it's pretty much what the basis of this movie is. And of course, by the end of the movie, of course, the Avengers, of course, big surprise, they do come on top at the end of this movie, and it is a good action film. And I mean, the recent superhero films, particularly Avengers and some of the DC comic movies. Of course, if you follow my reviews, my pet peeve is that they spend so much time on the action sequences that they forget about and they don't really focus on the plot and then hype up to the action scene, like the Christopher Reeve Superman movies did, or even the Tobey Maguire movies, that give you a little bit of action here and there, and then you set up the big action scene at the end of the film. But the problem with the Avengers movies is that it's over almost 2.5 hours of pure action. I mean, if you want to sit there when you get mind blown with just action scenes with no plot, if you don't have to think, you watch the Avengers movies. I mean that's what I get out of it, and I like the Marvel comics more than DC, but I grew up with watching the old '60s cartoons, when they were playing in the '70s, so because I wasn't born in the '60s, I was born in 1971. So I missed the original one of the cartoons, but I watched the cartoons from the '70s, and I still have my old Spider-Man comics. But regardless, they should focus on the plot and then build up to the action scenes, and have a little action here and there, because people kind of expect to see action in a comic book film. But they should hype the plot more than the action. But hey, people want to see action in comic book movies. They want to see the old style superhero films that took at least 2 hours before you get into a good action sequence. Here is a boom, and they hit you over the head with the action. But I thought the computer generated stuff was really terrific in this movie, and of course, the whole thing was Tony Stark's fault, Iron Man's fault, that his creation is the one that almost destroyed the whole world. And like I said, they did stop it eventually, but I thought that was I thought this movie takes way too long, focused way too much on the action, I was getting, my mind was getting blown out on all the action. It's like, hey, where's the plot? I'm like, where's the plot in this thing? And it's like, you blink and you miss it. That's the problem with the superhero films, today. Is that you blink and you miss the plot. Hey, watch, put in the plot. Put in more of the plot. If they put like an hour of the plot and then an hour and a half of action, it's fine by me. But they focus on the action too much. Because, oh, it's a comic movie, you gotta see action. Not really. I mean, if you watch the Christopher Reeve Superman films, or if you watch the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man film, even the Michael Keaton Batman movies, as much action they had in that, at least those movies, as silly as the Joel Schumacher films are, at least they have a plot. I mean, at least there's something there. And so here, they got nothing. They got no plot. Just 2.5 hours of action. I mean, it's mind-blowing. People get excited. I mean, these movies make money because it has all action, no plot. And that's what drives the movie-going audience today. Action and no plot. But Avengers: The Age of Ultron, I thought it was a decent sequel. But come on, guys, you gotta focus on the plot. You gotta have some people with imagination. I mean, the comic book writers have more imagination than the people who write the Hollywood screenwriters who write these plots for these movies. They try to take plots from the comic books and put it into the movie, and I think it doesn't translate very well, in my opinion. But what makes the movie work is the chemistry between the actors or these superheroes, like Hawkeye. You had Black Widow, Black Widow and the Hulk getting together there, and you have Iron Man or Captain America. All these different high-profile personalities, always fighting with each other. I think that's what also makes the movie work. The interplay between the actors, between the big action scenes, and at least with David Banner and Bruce Banner and Tony Stark, at least trying to explain to the audience what's going on, which I don't find it too bad. At least they try to attempt to make the plot interesting. But if you overdo it with the action and forget the plot, I mean, it's going to fail. Even though the last movie, Endgame, Avengers Endgame, that's like the top money making movie of all time. Because the next movie ends, which I'm going to review next, the Infinity War ends on a cliffhanger. So, but I'm focusing on Age of Ultron, and I think it has a good beginning, middle, and the end of this film. And I think it's like really the first Avengers adventure in the live action films that they are on their own. So you didn't have S.H.I.E.L.D. You didn't have any of that, or any of the other political turmoil to stop this team. It's kind of like their own thing. Kind of like with the Fantastic Four when they did doing their own thing without any government oversight. That's or any oversight by any other committee, either the government or somebody else. That's what I felt with this movie. At least you didn't have any of the political turmoil garbage that you had in the first Avengers movie, or even in Captain America: Civil War film. But this movie, I thought was okay. It goes into more of the psychological stuff as Ultron tries to go psychologically into the minds of each one of the Avengers, which made it kind of interesting, more the psychological stuff. But to me, it's just like one of those mindless action movies that people used to make fun of in the 80s. But at least those movies did kind of have a plot, so silly as some of those action movies in the 80s were. Now we're getting even sillier now because there's no plot. So that's my review of the movie Avengers: The Age of Ultron. Please click on the video, please rate it, please subscribe to my channel, please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews on my YouTube channel, RowdyC.com, so WDY. C.com is the homepage, and another reviewer, Chris Lee Moore. Please check out all his videos on this website. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.